3 of Camp Heal Thyself. If you guys have made it this far, you are real troopers. We salute you. We thank you. We honor you. You guys are lifers. You have this cannabis running through your blood, and we love that. So we want to welcome you today to Hash Camp, our celebration of Z-Resin, as our dear friend Frenchie used to say. Today we honor our teachers, we honor the ancient masters of this craft as we celebrate all their techniques, and we celebrate the farmers who bring us those flowers to work with. Because Frenchie always said the hash is really a celebration of the farmer, and for us that's a celebration of the soil and a celebration of nature. And we have some of our teachers here today to celebrate with us and share with us. And it's been a long time since we've got to see you guys in person, hug you, and we just love and adore you guys so much. We're honored to have you here. You want to say something?
The time doesn't exist, and they were in perfect timing. Yes, God. That's so true.
Please welcome Josh and Kelly, Dragonfly Earth Medicine.
So amazing seeing your guys' farm, the creations that you guys have been putting forth, and all the education and everything, family, multi-generational, about the kids in here and stuff. Is there a microphone? We need a microphone.
Let's do it.
That's what it looks like.
See a little bit.
Yeah.
Anyway, here's the microphone for you. Most importantly, we just love everyone here. We're super stoked about Hash Camp and the whole family. It's amazing to see how, the practices of land, closed loop farming has really resonated with the hash and with what's going on nowadays. And so, really seeing people truly embody, just the whole spectrum of life, which I think is what we're all doing here. It's not just about the gardens, it's about the whole entire family. It's about the vibe that goes into it. It's about the products, the headiest flavors. And, this is ground zero for a lot of the do-it-yourself, higher power, the forbidden cures, the forbidden medicine that they don't necessarily want to promote. So, this is like the real underground family, but bringing it to the masses. So everyone here has a really amazing place at the table. Huge acknowledgement to everyone on your path and everything that you're doing, because obviously this room is full of amazing people, and everyone beyond out in the internet worlds is, amazing people out there too. It's been 3 years since we've been down here. We've had a chance to really go internal with all the teachings that we ever had for the people, ones that we started with, the herbalism, the midwifery, the family, the making medicines. The last few years gave us a real opportunity to truly embody that lifestyle. And that's what we're about, just walking through all the things that we're talking about. And blessings on our family up at home who are keeping down the fort and everything up in Canada. Kel, did you want to say anything?
Yeah, I just wanted to say that in the reflection of the last 3 years, we've been up on our homestead, and it's given us this really beautiful, things to chew on, things that are not always so easy to chew on, but things that are really easy to chew on. And one thing that really came to clarity for us was that in the time we've been running around for so many years, we've been going to so many events just to feel like we could drop a little bit of a vibe or an energy or some kind of a crystalline thought into a group of people that may not really have that awakening yet, within their soul about putting, medicine and regenerative and health and well-being and happiness in our family and the health and well-being of our community and the health of the soil and the health of ourselves all together. They just aren't necessarily making that connection. And what we came to is that in this last 3 years that we're really going to make the events that, are the 90U bag. So like if we're having hash, it's a hash day today, and it is a Sunday, and we do a lot of hash church, and Josh and I do take out Sunday to talk that it's hash church. And I just think that we can make the beautiful metaphor that this is like a 90U event. And all of you little crystalline, amazing, beautiful little 90U heads are just slipping right through the bags. And when we come here, we are the super T cells. We are the headiest of the hash. We're the ones that everybody wants to seek out. So when we come together in events like this, we're able to really inspire each other and look at each other in the eyes after all of this time and be able to utilize that, these beautiful gifts that we can only reach with each other. Because, like if you just have one bud that goes through a 90U, I mean, that's no fun, but you need like a lot of bud, and then you can get something that everybody can share in. And that's what events like this are. And I just have so much gratitude for the family, for Sierra. Thank you so much. And you all putting in the energy, and the family here, and the children who've been moving sticks and rocks too. And it's just a reflection of the vibration. Tamara, thank you so much. You all are a reflection of this goddess light plant energy. And even though the difficulty in the translation of sandcastles and high tide, which is the corporate industry of cannabis, that's okay if it is like sandcastles and high tide, and the tide is mean that we have to, partake in that. That means that we can still take this energy and this vibration and this pure crystalline heads that's the headiest of all of the medicine and emanate it out. So I just have more gratitude than my heart and words have for all of you all today. Thank you for keeping true to the plant. Thank you for keeping true to plant medicine. Your inspiration and your hard work every day that most people don't ever see is the most important work. And that's that quiet work that we have with the soil, and the quiet work that we have with the community, and the struggles that we've had to get here today, and the struggles that we've had, throughout to sort of, have our dreams go a different way. But these talks give us an inspiration that it's okay that our dreams go a different way, that there's going to be some really cool, shiny ventures and opportunities that we never thought of.
Oh, right, now I have a mic. I guess I could talk in it. It feels weird now. Okay.
Perfect.
I'm just going to end it.
Is that okay?
Josh,
You guys can
I went
hear
on and on. I love you guys.
Hello, bless it. Yeah, I mean, and the plant medicine continues to evolve. So we've learned a lot. We've learned that there's this traditional way of living, this traditional farming, it's natural healing. That just continues to resonate and be an important thing. Now we have plant medicine coming in, and they're talking about having plant medicine therapies and psychedelic, legalization. But they're talking about not being able to have retreat centers and having to have it like indoors, blindfolded, with walls and like with therapies and stuff. And I think we all need to continue to encourage that nature healing, and nature therapy is the true, connection to source. The resonant, like Rocker T this morning and giving us the resonant field, and that like the fire being, you're connecting to that infinite. So, plant medicine is coming in. Our polyculture farms are the best place for healing. So the ganja is harder and harder to work with. Maybe we can start bringing people in, like, intentional healing. Um, so I think there's a lot of changes going on in the industry. The hash has been continuing to be really, really amazing. It's incredible being around so many of these makers, and I'm excited to see what's happening here. We got our first bags in 1999 when we moved up to BC, and we started going, wow, you can like make your own hash, and it was super amazing. And it was like, you can make bubble hash, and it bubbles when you put the lighter to it, and immediately we were super on it, and we've been making hash every year on our farm since then. Didn't get super heady into the rosin at first, but we did create the pure certification right away to be a solventless only certification because it was just in line with what made sense. We didn't want to have any toxic chemicals on our sacramental ganja. We didn't want to have an amazing garden and then use toxic chemicals, even though some people would argue that it was important for their business. We just felt like it didn't matter, that this was more important, and these natural closed loop practices really enhanced the terpenes. At first, our products, and we really preached, fermenting plant medicine, one of the first people out there to start talking about fermenting plants, and it really does raise the terpenes of the plant and give the plant a higher sense of self where it can express itself more. So I just really appreciate the dry sift tech, the static tech, clean heads, all different bags, what they do, where they're going to make rosin out of it, whether you can get 6-star melt. It's super interesting. It's where the flavor is. I think it's a fun way to look at ganja and just think of your farm is just producing like heads. It's trippy. So we're gonna let the hash makers come up here, and I just want to give again infinite thanks to the family for everyone what they're doing. We feel blessed to be a part of this. Give thanks for the multi-generations. Give thanks to the kids coming up. Make sure to walk your kids through the garden. Make sure to share your medicine with the elders and the grandparents. Make sure to, look at end of life and see how you can help, with plant medicine, and also beginning of life and midwifery and growing babies and breastfeeding with ganja and with plant medicine. It raises the intelligence of what's possible in a person's brain and in a family. So together we all become more powerful and more strong and more cohesive when we share in this type of way. So blessed love to the family. Give thanks. Kel, you can say something.
Thank you all so much. Yeah, let's just pass it on and let the hash makers teach us some really cool tech. And the appreciation is beyond words. It's just the way that we're going to leave it. So thank you all, and thank you to the energies and the spirits of this land that have been here in the past and have walked this land in the past, and we're going to walk the land in moving forward and allowing us to all gather here today on this rainy, cold, winter, California awesome day. Love y'all.
Give it up for Josh and Kelly, y'all.
Josh and Kelly, y'all. Dragonfly Earth Medicine. Unbelievable. We love those guys. We're so grateful they're back here in California. You ready, Baba? Ready to come up here? Yeah. If you're ready.
If you guys want to come up here and be part of the Chillum ceremony, come up here and sit on the ground with us.
We're going to have Rocker T lead us through Chillum ceremony. These are ancient ways of celebrating the resin and participating in these ancient times that the resin is resin.
So if anyone's interested, I'm going to break down some philosophy of the chillum. And if you all want to come close, we'll talk about the significance of the form and the shape of the chillum, some of the realities of its existence and its practice, my own personal philosophies. If anyone has chillums, feel free to bust them out. And I need there's a paper right there on that pole.
Right here.
Is that all this?
Maybe a knife.
I'm two-handed.
Can we hold it? I mean, I'll just
If y'all want to come closer, you're welcome to come closer. I thought I could have left them from the car. I could have been doing it. Okay. I'm just going to pass these around. There's a stone inside which is the gitti. It's called the gitti, meaning the pebble. This is the pebble. Everyone be gentle with them and take a look at these. I'm going to pass these around. These are some different chillums that I brought for us to smoke with and share with. Chota Rajasthani chillum, small Rajasthani chillum. I don't worry too much if a little tabak or something or ash gets on that. Volenath means the simple Lord, so we're very simple, very rudimentary. You meet people with lots of flashy jewelry, right? Or lots of flashy chillums and flashy hash cans. End of the day, it's all about her. Spice Bangla. So pass this one around and just take this is some hash we made in the ashram. So I'm going to make some chillums. Has anyone smoked chillum before and knows how to blend chillum?
How what?
How to blend the chillum, how to blend tobacco and hash together properly. Did anyone ever learn from Frenchie like to teach people how to do this? And if you know, I can do it in my palm.
watched him, but
I can
never.
do it in my palm as well. You can do it in a palm. But it's not that you have to do it in your palm. So this is a Tibetan prayer bowl. This is an offering bowl that I found. And I've been mixing my chillums in this for a long time. But if anyone else would like to, I have some, in Hindi we call it tambaku. This is really beautiful stuff. Really here. So while I do this, I'll talk a bit about the chillum and its philosophic, spiritual, geometric, sacred significance and representation. There's an old story of creation and there's a scientific story of creation, the Big Bang. And science is called the Big Bang. The universe began. In some scriptures it says there was nothing and then there was light. So I am the Word, I am the light and things came all over it was in a void. There was an old creation story that the void, and it's deep in the school, this would not necessarily be a patriarchal interpretation of religious text. But the void is the primordial mother. It's not a void at all. The void is not void. The void is a vast womb. It's the vast existence of the mother's lap. It's the heart and the arms of the mother. Because can anyone get here without, show me, anyone ever got here without their mother? If your mother didn't carry you here, raise your hand. So in this version, it's often told from just the beginning of the pillar of fire, that there's nothing, and then there's a pillar of fire. Obviously there is something, and she is there. And she allows and facilitates the existence of the pillar of fire, which in science is called the Big Bang. And nowadays, you'll see this pillar of fire and this void, and it might always not be described in these details, but you'll see this represented as what they call a Shiva Lingam, a lingam and a yoni, where you see a bowl that can flow outward, and it has a pillar inside. And in a way, it's heaven and earth and netherland. That's 3 levels. Now, a lot of altars and a lot of spirituality prior to written language represented this. Even in old forms of religions, which we now think only have a Father God. That there's concept of the Divine Mother, a father who could name things, say words that just make these sounds, and that the whole everything, the universe is all, everything in the universe is the children of this. So you can look at it as a concept or as a physical reality or as a science, or it kind of all reflects itself. Now, here's the void. It's empty. It's something, right? It's not nothing, but it's empty. And it's like the ball. It's like here's the pillar. This represents the creation of the universe in symbolic form. It also represents the divine union of mother and father energy, of brother and sister energy, son and daughter energy. But there was fire. And as far as we know, can we have fire without water? So there somehow must have been water, even if it was just in a thought, a form of a thought. There has to be water to go with fire. And there's void, but there's physical. When people have a baby, people say they made a baby. Not just had a baby, they made a baby. This is something that we make with our hands. This is made by humans. So I'm telling you all the concepts that represent the reality of existence that go along with this very, very simple practice. Now we're going to put very, what we call holy plants, sacramental plants, which are going to be something that is burned in fire. So now we are representing infinite nothingness, the reality of physical existence, the fact that humans make and grow things, and that there's something, so even in our Big Bang Theory, what caught on fire? If there's nothing there, what lit up on fire? So there's something to light on, something has to, we're lighting, this is just simply something to make sure we're going to have fire. Because we have no life without fire. And fire is consciousness, fire is love, fire is the thing that purifies everything and nullifies it into complete disintegration of its tiniest form so that it can reform into any kind of harmonious set of atoms, neutrons, protons, electrons, which are Shiva, Vishnu, Brahma, Parvati, Lakshmi, Saraswati. These are words for protons, neutrons, and electrons. Now when you're going to write this, let me find a good piece here. I'm going to wet this. I'm going to wet this cloth, and I'm going to wrap it around the chillum. So there's going to be water. Now, when we smoke it, first of all, how does fire work? Why does the wick catch on fire? Why can I strike stones? How can there just be fire out of nothing? Because even though we have to make fire, fire was made without anything. So that's in a way representing the ether. So we're now totally representing all five elements of creation. Water, to burn, oxygen has to go through to smoke this well. It doesn't get clogged up. It doesn't get crazy to clean. It doesn't stop smoking halfway through. Go out. When it's done and you clean, I don't know if you saw me cleaning my other chillum before. I was reaming my chillum with this. When you're done and you do this, it's clean. It's very clean. You can see it's black, but it's smooth. It's totally straight on the edges. It's clean. And the pipe will absorb. So that's why you see the pipe get darker. But it's actually pulling things out. The pipe is taking not just the cloth, but the pipe itself is taking things we don't want to smoke out. So by using the clay pipe, it's actually a healthier way to smoke hot pipe things, what we call hot pipe styles. Oh, you said this one. I picked up that one to talk about. So again, simply put, I can pretty much study the universe and study whatever my concepts are of God or goddess or whatever you want to call it, all from just sitting here doing this. I can think about how the universe started, how things flow, how things change, right? It has to come into being, it has to exist, it has to grow, it has to be properly cultivated, it has to have a good life cycle. That's the best one. And then it's gone. I could smash this so easily. These are so fragile. These two is particularly very, very fragile. The fire, and it's gone. And there's no question of this. There's no fear of this. There's no. Why do we have to die? Well, it doesn't matter. It's okay. It's part of it all. It's fine. It's only a transmutation. Yes, Ken.
What kind of ratio are you mixing up there? I just have no idea.
Well, pretty heavy on the hash, but enough of the tambaku so that it will burn. It'll ignite very well. Like I'm using it as an incendiary device. Too much tambaku, you kind of taste it differently, and your head's gonna swim, and your stomach might. And too much hash might be just a little too strong on the thickness of the smoke. An interesting thing, and I was gonna say this before, was that Shiva is depicted with Ganga in his dreadlocks. There's lots of stories about why she sits there. And Parvati is okay with this. And that's, if you look at society, I'm going to bring up the boys who would never cheat on their lady and their only other girlfriend is weed. Because it's a great practice of like not being a bad being. I'm not just saying this again, not just because it's only for boys. But it's just a great thing for boys. It's good to be a boy in life. You know? Don't worry, Ma. Only Ganga. Only Ganga is the other lady in my life. So, because obviously in our society we have a penchant. Men have a penchant for not being able to just be staying with one lady for the whole time. I'm not saying women can't do the same thing, but when we study ancient cultures, it wasn't very prevalent, and it happened over time. Let's just put it that way. Because those women are still around today. I visited those ancient cultures, and they run things, and they're so bona fide, they're a whole other level. They school us to no end. They're living goddesses. And every one of us is an embodiment and a reflection of what we call God and Goddess. Every one of us. And Ganga is female, and Tabak is male. And we can get out of balance just smoking cigarettes. And people can get out of balance with smoking just weed that has no seeds in it. And mostly that's what we want, that's what we're looking for, we're picking, that's the one, those going to make the good hash, like we don't have to take out all this, we just want some seed, we need seeds. I'm not saying, right, this is the human mentality, right? So if we're going to smoke seedless ganja, that is, then would be strong, only female energy. Then we balance it with this, and folks ask me, how can you stay up and DJ, produce, or sing, or from fire to fire, or rave to rave, or do you take, I did, do you drink? No, I don't drink, I don't take drugs, did all that before, used to crash out hard back then. Now I smoke this, and I can stay awake as long as I choose. And it's amazing how you can be high and you can be influenced by the THC, but yet stay so incredibly clear smoking this way. It doesn't get all hazy and, oh man, I can't drive, or I can't watch that right now, I can't think, I can't answer that question right now, bro. I'm too high. In our school, it's like, that's completely contradictory statement. Too high to think? What? The higher we get, the more, the deeper, the more, right? So, having said all that, I think that's about most of what I wanted to share with you about all this stuff. I don't want to go on too long. But before we light this, does anyone have any questions about this kind of thing or what I'm talking about? But I will say quickly, I'm an initiated Rastafari and Nayabindi. I'm also an initiated Shaivite. I don't prescribe to religion. I used to try to figure out the answer to those questions and feel like I needed to give someone an answer. But then I realized that it's beyond me because all of these concepts and stories are before all got written down anyway. So we shared them much more closely and simply than now they've gotten spread out. And it doesn't stop me from studying these texts because there's super deep stuff in there. Incredible, incredible tantras and yogas and all kind of techniques and ways for us to not suffocate under the pressure of an oppressor without having to fight or be violent or anything. It's very helpful stuff. But it can be totaled in commonality out of all of these. It can be drawn from all of these places. And that doesn't mean to just dash it away either. I have high respect for deep protocols of ancient cultures, even though some of them need to change. I have deep, I go into places and I roll protocol the way they roll until I can talk to people. Because people have a way in the tradition. I don't go around the earth like an American saying, you gotta do this and you gotta do that. And what that showed me was that a lot of the things I perceived as patriarchal and chauvinist are actually not. And in some of these places, like I was saying before, the women are super in charge of everything. And they want things a certain way because it ensures prosperity and peace. Not because it's being forced to be a certain behavior. It's because experience teaches people that when they act a certain way, life is good. When they act other ways, life gets all messed up and people fight with each other. So this is world peace. World peace in a tiny little bundle. And I carry it around in my sadhu bag. The whole thing. You can even look at it like it's a music instrument, you know? It's a music instrument. So you got questions?
You mentioned, you said something about like the feminine and masculine balance with smoking unseeded or weed all the time.
Well, it can
What if you're, would you,
happen.
so like, should we be smoking like weed with a little bit of seeds in it? Is that a little better, more balanced?
Well, I have come from a time when weed always had seeds in it.
Yeah.
You want to talk about getting knocked on your ass? I still have not gotten high off weed like we used to get high. I promise you.
Yeah. And it has the male pollen on it.
And it wasn't even Hawaiian weed yet. It wasn't even chronic Northern Lights yet. None of that yet. None of that UW, none of that yet. It was Ganny from upstate New York. We still have some seeds hiding away somewhere. It's ancient, and it was straight from Afghanistan. We're talking hash plant. Like everything that comes, so much diesel and all these things, HP13, they all come from this Ganny land. And when all the chronic hit, and weed $75 an ounce, you get an eighth. Weed is $75 an eighth. What it ended up being in New York at a certain time. You get an eighth of Ganny for 40, 35, 30 bucks. 3 times as strong, tastes better, lasts longer. The plant has lived its whole life. It's fresh. It's sad. It wants to make seeds. It doesn't want us controlling it this much. The old days, find boys quickly, but not just they're dead and you can't be there. It's just find them quickly and move them over there. And maybe take a bunch of them out. It's too many. There's too many boys bothering the girl. Like, it's normal. It's a good behavior. Leave the girls alone. Stop them. Let them have some peace and space and be themselves, right? So all this is so reflective in our own life and existence, So, and then, shit, some seeds. Accident. They're going to be really, these are going to be really good because no matter what we try to, right, it's supposed to happen. And the funny thing is that, has anyone ever had pollen from a male plant? Smoke the pollen. That's a whole other tradition. That's lit, right? It's a different, completely different high and experience, right? And you feel this whole like, whoa, and it doesn't last long, and it's very like common, and it's just like, raw. And it's like, what we call the male plant that, trying to go around doing this to everybody, right? So suddenly you feel like that, yeah. So it's over time. It's not just don't smoke weed with no seeds in it, but I've seen the effects on a lot of young men who grow up children of ganja farmers and in fact ganja families, and they have no motivation. They can't even walk a mile up the hill. They have no strength. They're out of shape. They don't even stretch. They're going to have some stomach issues and before they're even 30 years old, and they're just smoking, this energy, and it's affecting them from even fighting against injustice or anything. Drinking Red Bulls and eating at McDonald's, dreadlocks, call themselves a ganja man. That's totally, this is not just the TV did that to them. It's what they're drinking and smoking and what you eat, and what you eat. So how you smoke. So it's good to have female energy in the female and in the man. We love people. Lots of Shakti. Shakti is amazing. But we want prana also. Because these are two forms of energy that balance the whole universe. Prana and Shakti. Shiva and Shakti. Shiva and Parvati, whatever you want to call it. So any more questions before smoking time? It was like, let's smoke. I'm feeling it too, because I can talk a lot. If you ask me questions, I will answer them.
What's the hash?
This hash, we're smoking the first one, and if anyone has any other, we can blend that too. Hash party, chillum party, right? Not just chillum dissertation, right? And I was going to play y'all a couple of like Shiva songs on the guitar while we smoke. So this is my chela, same student I was telling you about, and he's also a chela in my ashram. Do this outdoors, no fertilizers at all. He just knows how to mix his soil up, and he's got living soil. He just knows what he's doing. And just seed in the ground, just water and sunshine. And it's a cookie dough wedding cake that we made with ice water. We sifted it with ice, and my techniques of how to knock things off. I wish Frenchie was here to corroborate me right now. He saw me do it on a massive scale in the warehouse next to his machine, and his water turned green before it melted. And I pulled about like a quarter ounce more than he did. And I had a partner, and we were John Henry, like we were ready to drop at the end of that day. It's not like saying, "Oh, we're French," you hear what I'm saying. But the water, I know how to work it, and the water does not get dirty. And we can talk about that afterwards too, because I encourage that a lot. Good for strength. But we sifted it. We put we put drops of the Ganga water. I have Ganga water that I brought from India, and we put that in our water when we make that. We also chant mantra while we are sifting. And then I sift. Often, the biggest screen I use is the 160 to stop anything. Because so often with the stuff that I'm working with, the 120 is lit. It's like super lit. So I just let it go and I do the 120, the 90, and the 73. I collect all as one full spectrum. So that's what this is. And then I don't use the 45, I just catch everything that's left in the 25. So it's like a different. Sometimes I'll be really melty, and sometimes I'll be really creamy. And we all nodding. Yeah, we know. And I like the 0 0. I like the 90 by itself. I really do. But and it doesn't totally bubble, right? When you mix the different head sizes, it's not the same full mouth like the 6-star full mouth, right? But the effects, and I can smoke it more throughout the day and night without it's too strong. So it's strong, and it's not like, whoa, I don't even know what to do right now. I'm just laying down and I smoke out his hash. I work. I stay up, like I said, I can perform and DJ online for. I did a marathon DJing online that went almost 48 plus 12, right? 60 hours. I sat down twice. I literally sat down twice. I don't take any stimulants other than chai, like the caffeine that's in tea. In that whole time I had 5 cups of chai. Chilling. I was just chilling. Lots of water. I ate. I took 2 showers in 60 hours. But just chilling. So, having said that, chilling. Okay, Baba, enough. So, anyone else had a question? Because I don't want to be rude. You had your finger up before.
I was joking.
Alright. Oh, we have some hash here on the
Temple ball, we're bringing temple ball up tomorrow.
So some of this heat press kind of things and stuff won't work the same because what'll happen is it will run through. So let's talk about that real quick before we smoke more. So if you notice, I wet the cloth and I put this around the chili. Now in the sacred sense, this is she, and we're not allowed to touch her. I'm touching her, right? But once we go to this point, we're not allowed to touch her. So we can only touch her skirt. So everyone remember that. We're touching the cloth. And we don't put our lips on her private part like that. I'm not saying that's not a good thing between two unified beings. But out of respect that we're all going to be passing her around, we're not doing that. So a very simple way, if you've never smoked before, is to hold it like this. And you never point the chin down. You might get a knee full of fire. You might shoot it out at your friend. Chin them always up. Like the way creation, we think, pictured, started with the fire in the void. Now if you want to get funky, well, first it's another simple way, is to go like this. And even with this way, or this way, no lips on the cloth. My lips are on my skin. Okay? So even if I do this, my lips are on my skin. Alright? Now this is the way that Shiva held the chilim. So I'm going to use these 2 fingers and this thumb. And these fingers are going to stay out. And I'm going to use this hand as well. And I'm going to make this mudra. And I'm going to put the chilim in there. This is a little tricky because we're not holding it like that. See the space between my thumb and my finger? This is going to be the smoking hole. This hand's going to make this one drop. And it's going to go through here first, like this, and around like this. Okay? And the whole bottom of the hand, everything. If you don't seal where your thumbs slide together, if you don't seal this all the way over, if you don't seal where your thumbs, you're just going to hear. If you seal everything, so I'll make that sound first. Okay? No strength, really hard to pull you use your whole breath. Now if I hold it like this, right? No sound. That takes practice. We have plenty of chillums. Chillum was passed to the right. In Rastafarian culture, chalice goes to the left. And most people don't know that Hindu culture is in Rastafarian culture. And even from the Himalayas and even in Jamaica, chalice to the left and chillum to the right. But we can spread them out because there's a lot of us. Has anyone ever lit a chillum before? As the inhaler. Has anyone ever lit the chillum as the lighter of the chillum before for someone else? It's very important to light the entire thing very quickly so that it's going to burn like a level. Because if it burns in the middle or down the side, you're charcoaling everything. It's not healthy to smoke it. The same with hitting a pipe. Some people, oh, I'm making it last. Well, no, you made half of it unhealthy because you charcoaled it. And now you're smoking charcoal. There's no more THC in it. It's just carbon. So if you light the entire thing, it'll smoke as a flat level and just go straight through the pipe. Now that's why I'm asking you because I made the pipe. I'm probably going to best if I light it to show you how it's done. But I need someone to light it for me. So you've done this before, right? We're going to make the flame. We do it the same with a match and risk burning our fingers. The flame's got to be wider than the pipe in order to do it quickly. You want the flame to be bigger than the top. So that all you have to do is place it and go around in a circle once, and the whole thing just goes. That's how everything started. It's not a slow bang. They don't call it the slow bang. And I'll pack these up and pass these away one little more. I'll pack these up, we'll pass these around as well. Not this is my little personal device. What I'm about to say are some words. Gangadhara is the one with the Ganga in his dreadlocks. Shankara is Shiva, but as a person. Shiva Shankar was a person. The Adi Shankaracharya, they said Shiva Shankar, the same way Rasta sees Haile Selassie as a person, but they call him Jah. Of course, Ganga is Mother Ganga. When we say Gange, also to declare her glory a little more, we call her Gange. Nataraj is the divine dancer that goes between the reality of all good and evil, all out and eyes closed, all day and night in that space in there when there's time in between when your eyes are open and closed. There's a moment in between night and day. And Nataraj can dance in that place, and Parvati is Nataraj's teacher. This is not a very known fact. People think Nataraj danced the dance on his own. Parvati showed him the dance. And in the first seconds that he he learned it that quickly. That's how closely unified they were. And she said, dance like this, and he said, like that, like this. I aspire to such levels. So, Jai Shiv Shankara Gangadhara Natarajani Kanta, who is the blue-throated one who traps the poison in his throat, Nilkanta. So now here we have the poison, but we have to learn to not let it kill us and let it out without harming anyone else. That's what Shiva did. He drank the poison and he sat there until she grabbed his throat and wouldn't let him swallow it because he would have died. And then he sat there until it could come out of his mouth without killing anyone else. So this is very symbolic of lots and lots of very cool things in our world. It's Nilkanta, Mahadev, Bholenath ki jai ho, Har Har Gange, Jai Ma Ganga. Alak. Bam bam bole. Why did it? It moves quickly and it's not a microphone. Mayut. Bam bam bole na. Who wants to start one somewhere in the middle over there? Yeah, right there, right there. They're fired up for it. They deserve it. Some silence coming in. You want to smoke also? You want to smoke? You said it all. Do you have headwick or matches over there? Okay. Pass the hemp. Return the hemp, please. All right, let me get my guitar. I'm gonna play some Shiva songs. Shiva Parvati songs. Thank you. Thank you, Randy. He's like, you held that living microphone stand over here. Powerful.
Like to sleep.
High power. Go straight into your third eye. It's a different type
Driving the car is
different type of smoking. What's that? No, I'm good. If it goes out, just pass the hemp and the lighter to the person to the right of the person smoking. Because that way, if you lit it, you're going to get the next hit. Be the person on the right and you light it. practice to know how to keep it moving and keep it lit. So no one's stressed, no worries. Keep firing it up until it's finished. And then I'll show you how to clean it up.